Terminator Dark Fate looks fucking terrible. It looks god awful. I would rather have a fucking UTI than know that this thing exists. God, okay. So Terminator Dark Fate is the latest attempt by a studio to revive the Terminator franchise. A franchise that really should have ended at 2. I mean, 3's okay, it had some good ideas, such as you can never really kill Skynet, it's always going to rise up because that's how you complete the timeline. John Connor is destined to be the leader of mankind and there's no stopping that. Yeah, that's good ideas, but goddamn, holy fucking shit. Oh, man. Man, did this franchise refuse to die.
Why won't you die? Nanomachine, son.
So, obviously, Terminator is kind of just worn out its welcome. 1 and 2 are still sci-fi classics. People absolutely love them. I don't really care that much about the franchise. I definitely enjoy 1 and 2 a lot, but it's not an all-time favorite of mine, as some people would say for them. Even I feel insulted with just how badly this has been dragged through the mud. Terminator 3 was a mid-2000s attempt at making Terminator again, and as stated, it had good ideas, but it just didn't really find a way to stick the landing. It was just kind of a soulless cash-in. Even James Cameron basically says, the story's over, you can't really do any more. The concept doesn't stretch as far as you think it does. And yeah, he's completely right. Now, I think Terminator Salvation actually had some good ideas. I like the fact that you could see the world after Armageddon and after Judgment Day. The whole idea with Sam Worthington being an infiltrator Terminator feels a little weird, because if he's supposed to be an infiltrator, why still put a bunch of metal in his system where fucking magnetic landmines specifically designed to, you know, cling on to Terminators and blow up? What? Why do that? If he's supposed to infiltrate and he's not even supposed to know he's a Terminator, why not find a way to synthesize organs and flesh and material like that in a way that doesn't use metal, so it almost completely passed for human? I mean, you can complain about that not being realistic all you want, but at the same time, you have a fucking franchise built around time travel and super AIs and shit like that. I'm just saying, make some concessions to make the story a bit more believable. But point is, Salvation had good ideas, but also really shit its pants in moments. Genesis was just... I don't want to talk about Genesis. Genesis sucked ass. Emilia Clarke is terrible, and she was only good in Game of Thrones, people. Never get hyped when she's attached to a project, because she's fucking awful. If she's not in Game of Thrones, she's fucking awful. And the thing she's in is probably fucking terrible, too. But Genesis was a really bad attempt at being basically a Marvel movie mixed in with a Terminator movie. And the weird part is just how self-referential. It was almost to a point of being a parody. It's so weird. It's like you had the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, 1, 2, and 3. And then 4 was fucking Scary Movie, where it's super self-referential and a parody, a literal comedic parody, but it's still part of this mainline franchise. It's so out of left field where all the others at least tried to have some kind of dread or tension. I mean, the first one's basically a horror movie. The second one is a ball-busting action movie where you don't know who could die because so many fucking people died in that movie.
What's the dog's name?
Max. Hey, Janelle. What's wrong with Wolfie? I can hear him barking. Is he okay?
Wolfie's fine, honey. Wolfie's just fine. What are you?
Your foster parents are dead.
The point is, you can't just add in a bunch of goofy jokes and try to reference yourself all the fucking time and expect people not to raise an eyebrow at how desperate it feels. And Dark Fate, it looks like it's trying to be serious with the fact that the early concept, at least, was John Connor fucking dies at the end of T2, which right there screamed of subverting your expectations, Rian Johnson syndrome, so a really fucking bad idea. And 2, they're trying so hard to sell that fucking, like, androgynous femboy android thing, Grace, as badass. Like, all the trailers show off Grace fighting Terminators and killing robots and shit, and it just comes across as so desperate. It really does. It's the exact same thing as with Genesis. It feels like they're so desperate to latch on to that one gimmick that's going to sell this movie. And with this, the gimmick is a fucking terrible looking character. Grace isn't scary. She's not badass. I'm not intimidated or excited when I see it. It's a fucking cyborg. I've seen plenty of cyborgs in movies before. One in Terminator does not shock me. If anything, it makes me raise an eyebrow why the Resistance would even create a cyborg when they were doing perfectly fine reprogramming Terminators, actually hacking and reprogramming them, and just sending them back to do their dirty work. Because a cyborg, I'm assuming you still have, human bits to worry about. Sure, you might have synthetic bits to compensate, but why not just cut out the middleman and just use the Terminators? They might be dangerous to get because you have to capture and reprogram a fucking Terminator trying to kill you, but creating a cyborg is also pretty fucking dangerous because you gotta cut out a bunch of human parts. The point is, this concept feels half thought out. It feels like a bunch of studio execs got together and said, hey, what if we made a really badass female fucking lead character for this movie, and didn't really think about how you could do that without just pointing at Linda Hamilton, who, yeah, you can make all the jokes about her being a grumpy old grandma all you want, but at least she has a fucking shotgun. That's kind of cool. And the leaks in general for the plot just sound painful, and not in an emotional way or a way that actually sounds powerful or good. They sound fucking stupid. John Connor gets killed off, so the savior of mankind magically transforms to this fucking Mexican girl who might birth, I want to say the leak said it was like the next savior of mankind, so literally just swapping the role over to this Mexican chick. Why? Fucked if I know, just because. Even though you would think that with John Connor dead, Skynet wins. Because if the universe doesn't immediately collapse and just turn into fucking black nothingness from the time paradox, it means that time can be changed, meaning Skynet can just fucking win. Trying to replace John Connor with someone else just feels lazy as fuck, in a desperate attempt to move away from the whole idea of the white male savior, which is corporate newspeak for we need to pander to the minority market somehow, so fuck it, we'll just take this well-established franchise and character and make him a minority all of a sudden. It's just really goddamn stupid. It's so blatant they're trying to set this up as a female empowerment movie, with the fact that, 3/4 of the cast are going to be women, all badasses and shit. Which obviously you can have badass females, but there's a difference between a badass female and a quote-unquote badass female. The one where it feels like they know how cool they look and it's just fucking insufferable. They just don't really seem to understand what made the franchise great. It's not just robots killing each other. There was a lot of context behind why the robots try to kill each other. There was a lot of tension behind it. And really, they just seem to be scrambling to find any reason for people to want to watch this. At first, John Connor was going to die, but then there were rumors that they changed the script after that got leaked. Now all of a sudden he's alive again. You really need to dedicate because one or the other is a pretty significant choice for you to make. You also have shit like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character being the old T-800 that went back in time, but this one was unprogrammed by John Connor, so it was evil, and then it killed John Connor in the desert, and then after it lost its purpose, it got sad and just decided to become a hermit that now cares about humanity and wants redemption.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Which is kind of fucking stupid, because the entire reason the Terminator and Terminator 2 gained redemption and actually cared about mankind was because it spent time with John Connor. It was around humans. It got to understand why people do things the way they do. It wasn't just because it was sad. So all in all, Dark Fate just sounds fucking terrible. It's just, none of this looks good. None of this looks interesting. What's the gimmick for the villain? Oh, it's that Terminator from fucking Terminator 3 so it can morph into weapons and guns and shit, but it can also split off and make another Terminator. Which, that's just fucking stupid. You want to know an idea for a Terminator movie that could actually be interesting? Skynet sends an entire army back in time. So now Judgment Day is moved up without the nuclear war and it's just machines killing people. That's at least something, because you don't have this, oh, we're gonna do Terminator 1 again shit. It's just a fucking war movie with Terminators. Which I get that was Salvation, but this time you can actually try to have some fun with the idea. All in all, I'm just not seeing any reason to check out Dark Fate. I mean, I feel bad for Arnold, I really do. He's trying to keep this franchise alive. He clearly has a lot of passion for it. But nobody in charge of this seems to understand where to go with this. They don't seem to understand how to make this entertaining or how to make this fresh and original. They just keep trying to rehash the same shit with a few more screws, a few more nails, and a few more dings with a hammer, and they just don't get that maybe it's time to let this fucking die. Terminator's not gonna be the cash cow everyone thinks it's gonna be, and all the fucking soy boy retards that'll pay for anything with a name brand on it are gonna run out of money eventually. I mean, their wife's boyfriend's Patreons constantly suck up the beer money, but all in all, I'm just not convinced Dark Fate's gonna be very good. I mean, we have really good movies coming out this year anyway. We had great movies come out already, so why the fuck do people insist on sucking up the mediocre shit? Just let Terminator Dark Fate flop. Let's just let it die, and let's just forget Terminator happened beyond 1 and 2. So that's all I can really say. Terminator does not look great. It does not look anywhere near watchable. Just let Dark Fate be the end. Some might say it deserves one more shot to clean up the act and not let it end on such a down note, but just accept it. Just cut your losses. That's the same logic gamblers use where they think, oh, I can make my money back if I just play one more round of cards. Just fucking call it. Just go home. So, until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and fuck it. I mean, what can you do? Fucking fuck Terminator. Who gives a shit anymore? Alright, see ya.